All right, let's start with probably the most important thing, and that is navigating our server. There's not a whole lot that we do directly on our stations. So to get to the server, you want to open up a File Explorer window, and you should find it fairly quickly on your quick access side. You're looking for engineering. So File Explorer, engineering, left click, and then we want to go into drawings. Double click. You'll find a lot of folders in here you don't need to be too concerned with just yet. There should be one with your names, and this is something that's become super useful for new hires. In here, we'll work on our practice drawing to get familiar with AutoCAD and how to space sprinklers, how to use the HydroCAD side of the program. Things in here like our check request forms we use an awful lot. There's the employee handbook. These will get more useful and make a lot more sense as you navigate them, but I don't need to spend a lot of time on this video for you to navigate those. Instructional videos, this and some others that I hope to get put together, you'll find in here. There are some that came directly from AutoCAD, HydroCAD, but they aren't terribly useful. So we will ignore that. Jensen Hughes training course. I've got a few old scans and screenshots of things I've had to do for credit hours or test prep. You'll spend some time going through these, and some of them are still photo screenshots. Some of these I converted to PDFs, but they are exactly what they say they are. Sprinkler system basics. You'll just start with the first screenshot and scroll through these slides as you finish reading. And these will hopefully keep me from having to throw information at you too quickly. But rather you read this and then you can come to me and ask, or maybe the next time it gets brought up, these have already somewhat prepared you for the random things I may be throwing at you. Okay, more important, inside this folder with your name, the practice drawing, and the timesheets. So we're going to go through this in a totally separate video. I'll show you guys some stuff hands-on, but this is where I want you to get used to using AutoCAD's basic tools and then using HydroCAD and learning how to space heads, how to locate them correctly in a ceiling, and then how to correctly turn it into a sprinkler system with the correct lines, pipe sizing. We should be able to turn this into a 3D model if it's all gone together correctly. Not complicated at all, but you don't know it, you don't know it. Timesheets. There is a master timesheet. It's best to avoid saving over this. So when you open this for the first time, you're going to make sure your name is in this, and you're going to do a Control-Shift-S, and Excel doesn't like that. Okay, never mind. Come over and say Save As, and in this case, the end of this week is going to be 11/1. So if you were saving your time this week, you would put Friday, the last day of this pay period, on this timesheet. So we're going to, I want to browse, make sure it goes to where we need it to go, and I'm going to say timesheet 11/1/2024. We'll save it, and now fill it in here at the top, week ending. Now you've got everything else we need to explain. But your timesheet, when it gets turned in, it should have the date on it of the last day in the pay period, which for us is the Friday of that week. Our work week goes the Saturday is the first day, Friday as the last. So if you work a Saturday, it might feel wrong, but you will not get paid for this Saturday. The immediate week after, it will be 2 weeks. Look at my timesheet, which I have saved on my desktop. 10/25, that was Friday, 3 days ago. Your timesheet will get more complicated as time goes on, and you have your hands in more things. Starting out, you're going to have a lot of time charged directly to office, and there's nothing in job number. You just fill in office under job name, and you'll see I spent some time in the office working on plans. I spent some time in the office doing meetings, and then again Friday plans. So I did not charge something to office every day. You'll notice Thursday is blank on everything except these down here. That brings us to travel, and the reason why nothing else happened on Thursday is because I was on the road all of Thursday. A little bit of time here before I left, so there's an hour charge to plans for this General Mills project. It was a long drive, so getting there and back 4 hours. I was on site for about 2 hours doing survey work, and in that area was another project I needed to check on, so it just worked out that instead of driving another 4 hours a separate day, I only had to go about an hour round trip. Your time, it's important to go into the row and column that it applies to, so it is charged correctly when payroll's done. At the end of the job, they can look and see, did we go over on engineering? Was it material? Did the field do it? Where did we have extra charged where we weren't supposed to have extra charged? Oh, I need information for this one. Shouldn't concern you with that, but now I'm realizing I still haven't gotten this job number from Dave. If you turn in a timesheet and it's meant to be charged to a job, this number has to be here, or payroll will come back to you and look for that information. You'll notice $18.90. This was the travel time that we had on Tuesday when we drove to Dayton to do a flow test. So 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes back. We were there for about an hour opening fire hydrants, and that equals about 54 miles. 35 cents a mile for me. 54 times 35 is $18.90. A lot more travel on Thursday to get me down to General Mills. 186 miles charged to the one job at 35 cents. 42 miles, 35 cents on the other. And what you do is tally these and insert that total at the bottom of your page. So amount, purpose, amount. You'll also see that if I direct your attention at the 40 hours here, and I come up to Buckeye Hills and I make this go away, 39. These should tally on their own, but you'll want to be careful that you don't change a block by mistake. That does happen a lot, but the formula is programmed into this that these numbers fill in here and these numbers fill in down here. Save that every week. Again, don't save over the master timesheet, and you want to keep an archive folder for those things. If you're looking at my desktop where I have my master saved, I save the new one every week, and then I drag and drop that into the timesheet shortcut that's in my folder, and I have all the timesheets going back to 2017, and then everything here that is still an Excel file is the year we're still in. So January rolls around 2025, I'll make another folder and then start saving all the current projects. It's helpful to do this because if your timesheet is messed up one week, you can go back and look. Sometimes most of the time it will not be messed up, but you might feel like you didn't get something charged correctly. You'll go back and you realize, I guess I didn't work as long as I thought. Okay, there's a lot in here you can just go through and explore on your own time. But again, File Explorer, engineering, drawings, you've got the files and folders under your name that are important. This one right here, blocks, we will use on every project. You're going to have to come in here and find a block. These have been compiled for the last 30 years of using AutoCAD in the company. Some of these you'll never go into. Others, like miscellaneous and this riser fitting, you'll use those constantly. Titles, this is where every drawing should start. You'll come in, open one of these. It should be locked so you can't save over it. We'll save it as the appropriate job file, which we'll get into later, and that will be where we start. If we scroll a little further, actually we back up in the drawings, scroll down a little farther, and you'll see the V's. This is our current series of contract numbers. So anything you're going to be doing, once you're comfortable enough and I can push you into these, you will work out of these job folders. We're only up to 60, so the next one's going to be 1561. The next job should be 1562. It's important that we get the right job number and the right name. I shouldn't have to explain that much, but it's important. And inside every job folder, you will see the same basic template, which breaks out bid documents. This should have the PDFs that explain what this job is. CAD files, specs for a Walmart are hard to find. But specifications will explain to you in greater detail than the drawings do of what is required of us and every other trade. We'll get our hands on those together before you just start flipping through one randomly. CAD files. Notice this CAD file is named exactly the same as the folder it's in. The job number complete, the name complete. No mistakes. HAS is where our calculation files go. Not real concerning for you yet. Stock list and purchase orders. This is the folder where the material we're ordering will get saved after we've written it up, listed it in our program. Submittals. As your drawings, calcs, and material data come together, you save them in the submittal folder. And in the submittal folder, you'll see there's one meant for when the drawings are approved. Those should get saved in there. When they've been submitted, they should be saved in as submitted so that we can go back later and just know that we know what we sent last. Some projects have a lot of revisions, and if you don't have every version saved in here, it can cause a lot of headache. Material. You can see he's pulled in a few files that were required for the submittal packet. We usually build those loose out here and then compile them, save them in this folder. Closeouts, that has to do with when a job is nearly finished, should be finishing. As-built documents, those are the things the owner will want in order to give us our last paycheck. Super important. Photos, if we've been on site, that's where those will be saved. Miscellaneous, calc placards, those we'll have to explain one-on-one. They don't make a lot of sense to somebody new right off the bat. And surveys, RFIs. What happens in the survey folder is when we mark up a hard copy of a drawing, we bring it back here, we run it through our scanner, and then we drop it in the survey folder. This Campbellsville job is like 4 or 5 hours away. We have not been there yet. But when a drawing gets marked up, we want to save it in here, and we don't have to worry about losing that hard copy. RFIs, an abbreviation you'll see a lot. That means request for information. When there is something about the project that we need direction on from the owner, we can't just fix it ourselves. There's going to be more money involved, or maybe we just don't know what to do. We request the information. And this is where we want to keep track of all of those RFI forms. With that, the only thing left to get into will be another video on starting a file and beginning in the tools of AutoCAD and HydroCAD.